Welcome to First United Church, an inclusive community of Christian faith. This is the view of our church as you approach us from 3rd Street in Bloomington. Some people say that they've never noticed that there was a church here, but it'll be easy for you to find us when you just remember that we're behind Prompt Care, which looks just like us, and the IU Credit Union, which is just over this hill and also looks like us. When you visit, you can park here, which is close to the sanctuary, or you can also park in our more spacious parking lot, which is over here, where there's still plenty of room. Our worship services are at 10:45 on Sunday mornings, and we also have an adult Sunday school hour and kids worship at 9:30. If you're bringing kids with you, we have plenty of childcare available. There is nursery care for infants through 3 years old at both our worship service and during the Sunday school hour. And there is also children's learning time, which is kind of like Sunday school, which happens during church. If you come for worship at 10:45, just bring your kids along with you. Near the beginning of the service, they'll come up for children's learning time, and just after that, we'll dismiss them to the classrooms to go and learn. They'll be learning about the same stuff we're learning about in church, the same scripture. This is our courtyard, which is what you'll see as you approach the church, with our peace pole and our portico walkway to walk in. You might want to stop by and visit the garden sometime if it's spring like it is now. It looks awesome. We have a lot of people that stop off here during the week and bring their lunches or just sit and read a book during the week. It's a peaceful place to be. The entrance that you can see over there is the entrance that's usually open during the weekdays if you're coming and you need to get into our office suite, which is located along these windows right here. But if you're coming for worship for the first time, you will most likely come in these doors. When you come in, there will probably be a greeter and also some ushers to help you figure out where you need to go and how things will work. This is our narthex, which is kind of like our lobby area. One of the first things you'll notice when you come in, if it's during the day like it is right now, is how much light there is that comes in through all these windows. This is the entrance to the sanctuary. When you come in, you can feel free to have a seat wherever you would like to be, and hopefully someone will greet you warmly. While you're waiting for the services to begin, you might want to visit with folks, or you might want to look around outside. You can also contemplate our tapestries, and there's information available about what all of those mean as you wait for the worship service to start. Worship services usually last about an hour, and they include things like saying prayers together. Sometimes we have an opening prayer, sometimes we have a prayer of confession together. We always have a sermon. We usually have 2 Bible readings, typically one from the Hebrew Bible and one from the Christian Bible. We have a fantastic pianist and organist. Here's our organ back here. And most Sundays of the year, except for when they take a short break in the summer, we have a great adult choir that offers us music every week. Music ranges from sort of more recent gospel music and Taizé music to traditional music from the Middle Ages or from the 18th and 19th centuries, all the way back to sometimes we have chant and ancient music. In our congregational singing, we sing out of the New Century Hymnal, which is the hymnal of the United Church of Christ. And we sing a mixture of hymns that are old favorites and some newer ones. And we try to sort of keep a regular group of them going so that if you stick around for a while, you'll get to know some of the hymns here. We have a lot of people at our church that are from many different backgrounds, so sometimes it's a challenge for us to find things that we can all sing together. But we try to do our best to find things that are meaningful to people. These are the chancel steps where the kids will come up for the children's time with the pastors just before they go out to children's learning time. Up here you can see our cross. And here, a scripture that was written, a paraphrase of a scripture from the Gospel of Matthew that was written on the wall when our church was built in 1957. First United Church, or as it was back then, it was First Baptist Church, was one of the first churches in Bloomington to desegregate. And it was important to members of our church and to our pastor to take a stand in the civil rights movement. And so the reason they chose this scripture, which says, "One is your master, the Christ, and you are all brothers and sisters," is because they were trying to help people remember that we are united as human beings because we're God's children, and that things like race should not matter, even though obviously when the church was built in 1957, racism was a huge issue in this country, as it continues to be today. And also as a symbol of that, when they built the cross, they built it out of African mahogany wood that they had imported, which they chose specifically because they wanted to portray the fact that as a mostly white congregation, racism was one of the greatest sins that they had to face as citizens and people who lived in the United States of America, and they used African mahogany to symbolize that sin of racism. This is our communion table, which is always here. You'll notice stools are sort of sitting around it here. We have communion on the first Sunday of each month, and communion is open to anyone who wishes to follow Christ and wishes to join with us at the table. Kids take communion, adults take communion. You don't have to be a member here. You don't have to be a baptized Christian. You just have to want to follow Jesus and be near Jesus and join in taking communion with us. The stools that you see around the edge are used by our communion servers, where they come up to the stools and receive the elements, the bread and the juice or wine, and then they take it with them out to the congregation to serve the rest of the congregation. I hope that this little video tour has been helpful to you, and I really am looking forward to seeing you when you come to First United Church. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can always contact us here at the church. The email address is firstunitedchurchbloomington.org, or you can call us at 812-332-4439, or visit us online, which you are probably already doing, at www.firstunitedchurchbloomington.org. Thank you, and have a great day.